Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Carlton D'Souza. This is Million Opinions. And in today's episode, we have Charul Jaitly, who is an HR director, a TEDx speaker, communication coach, best-selling author of Eye to Eye with I, international keynote speaker, winner of Mrs. UAE International 2021, women leadership champion, and a multiple award winner. Charul Jaitly, thank you so much for your time. Welcome to Million Opinions.
Thank you so much, Carlton. Pleasure is mine. Delighted to be here.
So, in a very short way, can you tell us your journey? How did it all start from your early years, from your younger years to becoming an HR director?
You know I've written a book, right? That's how much time I need to explain you that. But in very, very short, like an elevator pitch, it was a very bumpy ride all the way to the top. Did I enjoy all of it? Perhaps no, but here I am. I'm a fighter. I'm a woman on a mission. I am driven by my own ambition, which is to do a few things that I've chartered for myself, which is write few more books, continue to expand my work through my reach, through my communication work as keynote speaker, and really to elevate and inspire others, not necessarily women, men, child, but anybody who has a dream and a vision and finds roadblocks in their way to grow. I want to be able to handhold them. So the journey to the top can get very lonely and very tiring. And I find a lot of pleasure and passion in guiding and maneuvering those journeys for others. As an HRD expert for organizations, going through that transformation, for individuals as a coach and a guide, through different public workshops that I run and corporate programs that I run. So yeah, that's really me.
You get a 360-degree view, don't you? Because you are a business owner, you have employees within your organization.
Sure.
And you represent employees.
Yeah.
So my question is this. When you were working for a company, how did you manage the best interest of the employees and the values of the company or the goals of the company whilst being hired by the company?
Yeah, very good question. Twisted one, but very, very good question. You see, let me start by a little disclaimer. The reason I'm on the other side of the table, which is running my own company, is because I went through that experience of being employed by somebody and I saw the gaps that I noticed in 18, 19 years of my career. So it was not like the Gen Zs, and I'm not generalizing, that 8 months and I figured it out, let's move on. 18, 19 years of being on the other side and realizing this is good, this can get better, and I want to be on the boat that drives better. So let me be a part of fixing the problem and not continue being the problem. And problem is a strong word, let's say a challenge, which is why I decided to come on the other side to enable organizations see what I saw as an employee. And it's things like culture, right? Organization culture. Leaders are too busy delivering, meeting those whatever sales targets that they've put for themselves or fending for their own careers or their own career path. Again, no generalizing, but this tends to be the human behavior. And somewhere in growing the organization, growing your portfolio, expanding your reach geographically, you miss the plot of who is taking you through that, which is your employees. So a lot of my work is around bringing them back to the drawing board in understanding essentially what will help you get through whatever it is that you want to get through is your team members, is the skill set, and is the mindset that you have on board. So when I was as an employee of an organization, I have to say I was fortunate to work with some very incredible brands which had great cultures. But as an employee, the buck stops at a point. And there is only that much that you can in your capacity as a certain, level of hierarchy that you're in, you have the right to influence. When you come and set up your own business, and I say this with a smile because one day you're a T-boy, the other day you're a finance manager, and on the third day you are the CEO of the company. So you get to experience the organization across all levels, and it allows you to influence that change that you want to and take that as a product or a service to others and show them how it works. So I'll take a pause here, but it's been an incredible journey. Have I mastered the art? I think till my last breath, it will be work in progress, but it's been a fantastic journey.
Enlighten us, what is the role of an HR?
Okay.
I mean, I know it's a very big question. It is. But just for us who don't know, a quick summary of what is the role of an HR, what it was when you started out, and what it is right now.
Very good. This is an easy question because it's a matter of fact, right? HR is that instrumental part of an organization without which, let me say this, it's like breath in a body. If you have a beautiful body, you work out and you have a chiseled, face line and you have six-pack ab, but if you don't have breath, it's worth nothing. For me, HR is that breath in the body. And without human resources, you cannot function. So that stays as a static fact no matter which era of work we talk about. When I started my career almost 2 decades back, and I feel very old talking about that, HR was, and I'm sure you've heard this, many papers have been written on it, but I'm talking through my experience. It was a paper kind of moving department. It was very administrative. A lot of work came to HR because employees had to be recorded somewhere. Their details had to be mapped and so on and so forth. So very logistical, very administrative, very non-leadership kind of a role, did not have a seat on the table, no decision making was ever entrusted upon HR colleagues. And fast forward to where we are now. The world has evolved and how phenomenally, and HR has kind of come to grips with it. What is really instrumental, Carlton, is that leadership in the organization appreciates this shift. As much as HR colleagues have understood or they have risen to the fact that they are more than just administrators, leadership in an organization also needs to accept it. And the acceptance is there because we are in a day and place in the world right now where leaders are recognizing what employees mean to the organization. So in today's day and age, HR professionals, they're very educated, they're very experienced, they are very much in tune with the business, they are having a seat on the table, they represent the board, they have a pulse in the organization in the sense of if our target is this, if this is the geography we want to expand into, if this is the product portfolio we are diversifying into, this is the skill set we need. They are keeping a check on what do employees want. I mean, look at Dubai, a melting pot of nationalities. You can't have one approach to hiring and retaining and make sure it works. It does not work like that because you have Asians, you have Europeans, you have Americans. For all you know, we have people from the moon as well that we're not accounting for. But you get the point, right? Yep. So HR has become ever so evolving in the way they maneuver their day-to-day transactions and also how they meet the expectations of the leadership while keeping the workforce engaged. So I'll take a pause there.
Something that you feel the role of an HR is misunderstood by the employees or by the leadership.
Look, it's a very strong statement you made, and from where I sit, Carlton, after so many years of experience, I would all put it on the culture of the organization, which sits with the leadership of the organization. How employees feel, what they comprehend, how they understand what they understand of the department, of the organization is completely up to the leadership. How they're oriented, how they're inducted into the organization, what is the brand value that they understand, how are they allowed to grow and prosper within the organization. With that, what is their relationship with their manager? How does the manager treat them? How do they see managers treat each other? Leaders treat managers. It's all about the culture. It's like going back to your house, right? How does a child feel inside the house is the responsibility of parents. It's the same. It's the same analogy at work. There are those leaders who have many more years of experience, maturity, understanding of the business than a regular employee or a line employee or a junior colleague, right? So it is up to them how they make the employees understand. So when I say it is their responsibility, I think it's also employees who need to be curious, who need to be resilient to understanding, okay, I have moved organization or I've come into a new organization. Let me understand it better. Let me understand what it takes to succeed in this organization. So that curiosity, that fire in an individual, which is then fueled by the culture in the organization, will define how employees understand what this organization is all about.
Organization is always a team,
Yes.
a team effort. So you also said when you're an entrepreneur, you are playing different roles from a
Yes.
T-boy to
Yes.
the CEO. Say for in an organization, you have commissions, you have rewards, you have a recognition. Bonuses is what I was looking for. Bonus is the right word. So when the bonus is calculated, okay, yes, some of them you have ways to calculate their bonus. But what about the office boy or the admin staff or the ones who are indirectly a part of the team, but they're not really in the front line? How does that?
Yeah. You're reminding of my days like almost 15, 16 years back, where I actually had this conversation. I was a junior colleague in HR then, and my HR director, who I used to report into, I actually asked her this question because HR is the same. If you look at HR department, we are not actually going out making a sale. So how do you measure our success rate? How do you give us a bonus? Where we are right now, Carlton, things are very, very well defined. But just to give you an example, we are indirect supporters of the growth of the organization. So for example, for HR, the benchmark for bonus calculation would be if you've been able to reduce the employee turnover by X percentage, then that defines that you're contributing to the success of the organization, because turnover costs organization a certain amount. So we as HR professionals, we really have a tab of what is per hire cost. And if you look at turnover going low, that means our per hire cost has gone low. That means we have saved money, which adds to the profit of the organization. And there are many, many such benchmarks. There are many because HR contributes in many different ways. So for people like Office Boy, what we would do is we would run a very informal survey where people could give a rating on how their behavior, how their mannerism was, if their service was good, if they did what they had to do. And that would allow us, because in a way, they're keeping the team happy. A happy team means happier work. A happier work means more sales. More sales means more profit. So we will always find a way to link it. Until the time we do that, formally or informally, I think it defines their case for deserving the bonus.
Does the new policies like work from home, hybrid working, how did that affect, or does it affect HR policies right now?
To be honest, Carlton, it does in a big way, right? When it happened for the first time, we all were shocked. Like any other colleague in any organization or any profession. It was a huge change. As much as HR is an office-based job, we are all about people. It's all about interacting with colleagues, right? So while I'm an HR director sitting in a cabin, I'm hardly in the cabin. I am on the floor, and I think that's what HR should do. They should be with the people. So when this whole work from home situation started, it did throw a curveball, because as much as HR was trying to adapt, it was the responsibility of HRDs to ensure everybody else understands how to run their operation with the new reality. So it was not only about us equipping ourselves, but also hand-holding other leaders in the organization. Because going back to the analogy of, being raised in a house, if there is a storm outside and the door starts to leak, the parents will not only just take care of their door, they will show everybody how we can fix it. And if it ever happens again, this is what we should do. So we were those parents for the organization. While we had to figure out how we manage it ourselves, we had to show the leaders. So there was a lot of practical considerations that had to be taken into account. Offices were reduced in terms of sizes of the offices to control the cost. Travels were reduced. There was a lot of appetite for people to connect over, online business meetings, and even board meetings happened online. So we had to look for ways of reducing cost, ensuring efficiency, not compromising on effectiveness, making sure people still feel connected. So leveraging more of technology, ensuring there is flexible modules offered to organizations across different geographies. While we're doing all of this, the company continues to grow, and we continue to have different locations where we are setting up new offices. So we have to also align with the local laws of the country. So for example, let's say UAE is more tolerant in terms of you working from home, but you go to X country, without naming names, they might say, no, we need 80% of your time in the office. So it's also about aligning with the local laws. So no cookie cutter approach to this. We had to just go with the flow. We had to just know what cannot be done. And with that, we had to create the benchmark of what could be done. So yeah, like I said, leveraging technology, reduced office hours, flexible work options, less travel time, lots of culture alignment workshops, which I personally delivered. Because imagine, Carlton, this is right after COVID. You come back and somebody who used to sit next to for the last 5 years is gone. When I say gone, not just lost the job, but perhaps they're gone. And it's a new reality that you walk into when you come back to office. So we did, not only for my organization, but we offered it as a product, as a service to other organizations. We called it Return to Work Post-COVID. And it was a 3-month program. And we took organizations, literally leaders, middle management. So we had 3-tiered program: leadership, middle management, and junior colleagues. And it was really about a lot of mental health work. Because if I give you a technology, in 2 days, you'll understand. I tell you work from home, work from office, you will understand. But what's going on here and how it affects your output is very, very essential. So yeah, I think I've given a lot in terms of the changes and the interventions that we did. We never can say anybody was ever prepared for that, or have we mastered the art of working that way. But I think for me, most important is don't resist the change. Just go with the flow, make amends, make sure that you communicate it across the organization so they understand and they're aligned with your approach, and then enjoy the ride.
When you mentioned mental health challenges, many people want to get that awareness out.
Yeah.
How open is leadership right now in working with the employees pertaining to their mental health?
That's a difficult question. And the reason I say that is I work with many clients, right? And there are some which surprise me. Their appetite is ferocious. They really want to invest in their employees. And when I say invest, they're talking about mental health, and they don't shy away. Because when we start to talk about mental health, when somebody like me goes in, I'm there to show them the mirror, and not everybody likes what they see in the mirror. So some leaders, they have the appetite and the courage to look into the mirror. The others perhaps no. So I'm somebody who, as a communication coach, I use a lot of analogies. So it's like, there are others who will say, oh, let's say there is a woman with a makeup. Let's fix your eyebrows. Let's fix your lipstick and you can look pretty. But here I'm standing with a big mirror saying, hey, let's look at the all of you. And let me show you how I can make you look better. Not just with what I see in the mirror, but also what you project from inside. And it's the fear of the unknown sometimes, Carlton, because people are still coming to terms with what mental health means. That maturity is not there in many organizations, right? So when you walk in the dark and it is something that you've not touched and you're doing well, then you think you're not missing anything. But sometimes, when you have a physical ailment, the symptoms show up way later than when it started. So the issue can be very deep-rooted, deep-seated, and it has waited for months and years when your shoulder or your arm starts to hurt. But the muscle inside has been hurting for a long time, but now it's saying, hey, can you give me some attention because it's hurting a bit too much inside. Mental health is like that. There are organizations which find themselves crippled because, everything is fine. All the numbers are looking great. The turnover is fine, but they are not performing. And then you realize that we have to go deeper. So, talking about UAE, I think the good part is people are willing to talk. You look at global organizations. In Europe, there is a lot of acceptance for mental health. Asia is a very spiritual continent, so they are quite open. And I think they are a little bit ahead of the game in terms of bringing mental health practices into organizations. The more you go towards the West, it can be a bit challenging.
Let's speak about your organization.
Okay.
What is it something that you have started in your organization that you're very proud of?
Everything.
Okay.
It's like mother with a child. Which child do you like more? What do you like about your child? Everything. What would you like to know?
How are you leading by example, and what can companies take from that?
You mean other entrepreneurs?
Yes, please.
Okay. I think there are a few things, because there's been huge learning, Carlton, for the last 8 years since I've started this journey as an entrepreneur. One, it is not an easy ride. It truly is a bumpy ride. And if anybody told you that businesses are an overnight success, I'm willing to challenge them. I'm telling you, they are, if not lying, they are fooling you. It's hard work. And what is key to succeeding is persistency, is consistency. Rather than being persistent, it's about consistency, right? And taking every defeat with a pinch of salt, right? And I'm reminded of this. I've used this quote somewhere, but I'm reminded of this. If you want to enjoy the view of a rainbow, you have to put up with the rain. So go through the rain and then enjoy the rainbow. So for our organization, when we started, it was just me and my partner, 2 lone souls, very high achievers, highly qualified, well-traveled, and started the business. Anybody who told us will do business with us were not reachable. And I think everybody means well, but they have to look out for themselves. And as much as they want to support, sometimes, it's not the right timing for you or for them, right? So if that happens, which is the real world we live in, let it happen. It's their journey and you are on your journey. But where we are right now, 8 years down the line, and I'm really proud of how far we have come with over 180 clients served, with a good turnover that I do not wish to talk about in the podcast, with our company diversifying into not just 2 but 5 different portfolios, from people services to sustainability to now very focused public speaking, communication work, to work around analytics. There's a lot of good work that we are into, and our vision and view with the organization is really at the bottom of all of it is to enable organizations to be better. So if you invite Matiti into your boardroom or into a meeting, we will, for lack of a better word, dissect your organization to see, is it people practices where you're hurting? Is it mental health work? Is it really related to communication? Are you doing what you should do as a right organization, the best employer in the world from sustainability point of view? And then we kind of map your charter, your program, and we tell you this is how we can help, and let us help you in this much time attain this. So it's very goal oriented. It's result focused. It's not just lip service. We actually deliver what we agree with our clients, and it takes 2 to tango. They have to tango with us, right? So if they commit to employees participating in it, they have to make sure those people show up. And then we tango together, and it's a beautiful dance.
Is it only for companies that you provide service, or for individuals as well?
Individuals as well. So I personally do a lot of coaching and mentoring for other people who are in their startup journey, especially for the communication work I do. I do a lot of very good work around enabling leaders to become better communicators, because more often than not, the problem starts with how and what you say to your organization, to your colleagues, to your partners, to your children, to anybody. It's what's coming out of your mouth, right? And it's not just the words, it's also a lot of inner work. I dive very, very deep. So a lot of people who have been through this communication journey with me, They come and tell me, Charul, you should change the name of the program. I was like, maybe in few years I will. Right now, I don't want to scare people. I want to invite people in. Because if you put too complex a name where you talk about internal change and inner awakening, people run away. So I want to catch the bird or catch the fish, or get the low-hanging fruit, let's say, because I want to talk the language with them that they understand. And then what I do with them is my choice, because now I have their attention. So through communication programs, we do a lot of personalized work, one-on-one. We also do public workshops, not only in UAE, in different parts of the world as well. So we've done in South Africa, in India. We hope to go to Saudi. So it's work in progress, but and they're very successful workshops.
Glad to hear.
Thank you.
Talent acquisition in your company. When you hire someone, what do you look? What kind of traits do you look at?
Very nice question. For me, it's always more than the qualification and the skill. It is about alignment of values. Are they truthful to others? Are they committed to their growth and the organization's growth? Are they nurtured with the right values, right? Are they somebody who will not throw you under the bus? Are they people who you can trust, right? So for me, it's more about the soft elements of the personality. These skills and qualifications are truly essential, no denying that. But if I was to allocate some percentages, let's say, I will give 10 to 20% on their alignment with the job description. And people have challenged me. They're like, no, it needs to be 80. And I was like, well, that's your choice. I'm telling you my answer. 10 to 20% is all the experience and this and that related to the job. 30 to 40% will be their qualification, their skills, and everything else is attitude, values, and all of that, the soft part of it. And that's how I assess people. And guess what? I recruit people for organization, some very senior roles, the VPs and the board members. Without telling my client, I do that. And my success rate is 100%. So it works. But again, you only tell your clients or people you speak to that much that they understand. I don't want to scare people away. So when the time is right, and maybe through your podcast, some people will listen and they're like, that's the secret sauce. And then they're interested because now there is a success story attached to it. Before, if they were just to hear it from me first time, it's scary. No, she does not know what she's talking about. But now that they've seen the success, they're like, no, we know it works. Can you tell us more? So you got to balance it out.
DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yeah.
UAE is doing that.
Yes.
We know that. In organizations, I know to a certain degree, yes, it is happening and the change is slow for various reasons.
Sure.
How open are companies to hire children or people with neurodiversity?
It is a cultural decision, right? It is about the maturity of the organization. A lot of organizations, so let me say this, when we were in 2015, I was still in my day job. I was global head of talent for a very big strategy consulting firm based out of Washington, D.C. And I remember the CEO of the company, I was the head of talent acquisition, global head of talent acquisition. So I remember the head of, the CEO of the company, he walked up to my office and said, I want to hire a D&I director. And I looked at him, I was like, sorry, what is that? This is 2012-13. And I'm very proud. I recruited the first ever director of diversity and inclusion in a certain category of organizations here in UAE. Because 2012-13, nobody was talking about it. And how did that happen is because the leader of the organization knew it was time. Because the leader of the organization had the vision and direction that my company is growing the way it's growing, and we are such a diverse population of people, and that we need to have, for the lack of a better word, like a diversity cop come in and say, hey, you can do this, but you can't do that, right? So as a leader in the organization myself, I needed that vision from somebody who's the owner of the organization to drive that. A lot of organizations in this part of the world and otherwise globally, they do not know where in the journey they are. A lot of organizations and leadership do not even understand what will this person come and do. And my suggestion to all those people in organizations is hire a short-term consultant. Get somebody to come and do a dissection of your organization and tell you that by bringing in this person or this characteristic in your team organization, you will benefit from X, Y, and Z. So if you're not ready to bring somebody full-time, fine. There are a lot of D&I consultants now. There are a lot of people who were in corporate jobs and have now become entrepreneurs. They are offering this service to organizations. So I think it's about organizations first accepting that they want to learn about it, then get somebody and become aware of where are those challenges that we don't know, we can't see, show it to us, and then just act and implement those changes and see the result for yourself.
Shall we just quickly go for some questions for students and graduates?
Your call. Of course, I'm here.
Okay, so if a student is looking out for internship,
Yeah.
how do they, what steps do they take?
Okay, so I go to a lot of universities and schools and I get asked this question again and again. One, I want students to know that they have to feel the need to do internship, not because your teacher has told or your principal has told or your parents are pushing you, because I see there is a lot of reluctance and hesitation sometimes in students. And when you approach a project with some reluctance or hesitation or not 100% committed to do it, you will not bear the fruits of it. So one is to be mentally prepared that this is going to be an exciting journey and let's go into it, dive into it. So I want to bring that excitement, that enthusiasm, into the students, into their mindsets. And I want them to know this is not the first time on the face of earth that somebody is looking for internships. Everybody, whoever is graduated, has gone through that journey. It's a cycle. That means a lot of us, you, me, and so many others, we've survived it and we've done well. So it is life-changing, it is game-changing. It's a huge milestone for them because they're coming out of college, going into the real world. And if you see, I'm talking all about mindset here, Carlton, because for me, it is the most important thing. And then resources will show up. So work on the mindset of the students, the fresh graduates. Reach out to your alumni networks. I think it is one of very under-tapped resource. I always tell people to reach out to leaders as much as they are busy people. If somebody from university wrote to me and said, hey, would you have 10 minutes that we can get on a quick call and I would like to just hear about your journey, I would jump on that call. It's not necessarily asking for something that perhaps they can't give you through an email, but get their attention. So if I say, hey, Mr. CEO, my name is this, I've done this, and there is a long email about how great I am, and then in the end, one line, I'm looking for internship. Do you think somebody is going to read it and respond to it? Logically, no. But if I received a beautiful, short, crisp message on LinkedIn or on my email or wherever they find me from saying, hey, ma'am, sir, your journey has been truly inspiring. Do you think you'll have 10 minutes that I can speak to you and understand how did your journey start and what learnings have you had along the way? And I'm available at a time convenient to you. I've just dictated an email, by the way, and I hope they will learn from that. Do you think people will not respond? I'll respond to as many students who will reach out to me. And again, I'm giving an open call, right? And I do that. There are students from different universities who took up this challenge, and I've given them those 10 minutes. And many a times it is about building that relationship. And do you think if the CEO or the decision maker has had that 10 minutes with you and they like you, towards the end of the call, you will not find an opportunity saying, hey, sir, by the way, I am graduating from my college and this is my last semester. I will be available. I'm even open to an unpaid internship. Do you think there will be an opportunity? You don't have to respond to me now or connect me with the right person in the team and I can take it forward. And end it there, right? So be smart. All that you've learned in your college days, right, is about how you position yourself. And for me, that is critical. And there was nobody to tell me when I was looking for internships, to be honest. I had to learn as I go. But wherever I was in my career. So for example, very quickly, this is not in the question, but I'll say it anyway. When I first landed in Canada, I did not have nobody I knew, and I did not have a job. And guess what? In 2 months, I was director HR with the biggest retail Indigo, with a downtown home office, street viewing office. And everybody walked up to me saying, and I was like, okay, there is an opportunity to make money and make a brand. I will coach you on how to do it. And I laid out a strategy, and it works. And that is all got to do with how you position. So first is how you position yourself, how you mentally invigorate that conversation to entice somebody positively to have that conversation with you. And when you have that conversation, it's not about what can I get. It's not that. How can we both benefit from that conversation? It's again mental a game, not game, but it's a mental trick. Because if you go to take, and they always have to give, it's not a good bargain. So I'll stop here, but I hope I've given some tips for students to take.
A lot of them actually, and even for me.
Okay.
What would an entry level or a fresher's CV look like if they don't have any experience?
It will look very good. It should look like, so if you don't have experience, your CV should look like that, not otherwise. And that's.
Can you tell me more about
Sure. And that's what I try to tell the students. Don't try to position yourself who you're not. If you are a fresh grad, that means you're fresh. You have not done this. Imagine if I showed up at the car license company saying, I've never driven a car, can you show me how? And then they put you on a driver's seat and say, drive, and I drive like, a Ferrari driver. What have I gone there for? Right? So if your CV has to look like a 10-year experienced professional, then why you're a fresh graduate? But what you can do is make the CV interesting with what you have. Okay, so one is stop that fight of saying, how do I put experience? No, you don't have to put experience. Highlight your strengths. Highlight your learnings. Highlight what is your ambition with yourself, right? Highlight how will any organization, if you are somebody who's very clear and specific of which sector you want to go into, which country you want to work for, then you go into specific details. Otherwise, generically, how can any employer benefit from having a skill set like yours? And if you put these 4 buckets in front of somebody, and I meet students all the time, when you put these 4 buckets in front of somebody, they will very happily want to talk to you.
A CV for a fresher, you said that it has to be what it is.
Mm-hmm.
They need to highlight their strength.
Mm-hmm.
How should one dress for an interview? Any tips?
I think it's a reflection of who you really want the person to be. So if you are showing up for a job in a hotel, you have to dress up crisp and sharp. Your nails can't be dirty and your hair can't be unkempt, right? But if you're showing up for a job which is, let's say, for a librarian, then you have to look in a certain way. So the tips really is very simple. Be clean, be sharp, be immaculate. Make sure that, your beard is trimmed. I know it's not a short answer you looked for, but look at the hygienic sense of how you represent yourself. But be lit. Let that energy, let that light shine from within. And believe me, I have sat in interviews where I did not look at the person other than what they were saying and look at their face. And they left the room and I don't even remember what were they wearing. If you are that, and if you can draw the attention to who you really are, then this does not matter. But it does play an important role. So I will try and answer the next questions very quickly. This is important because when you walk through the door for an interview, people are looking at you. Like it or not, we live in a world, people will assess you if you have invested time in showing up the right way. So give it that time, the due time to show up as you would like to be seen.
An ideal structure, a CV structure in Dubai,
Mm-hmm.
with the ATS software that's going on, what would you recommend?
One pager.
And
pack it all up in one page.
That's the CV. So cover letter, yay, nay?
If they ask for it, it's too much information. There are some job applications which they're very smart with it, right? They want to see how much of your time are you investing in it. So those asterisks marked field are the mandatory ones, and there are others which are not. But I've been a recruiter. I know why we're doing it, right? We want to see how much time you're investing. So here is a tip. Have 5 to 7 different formats of cover letters written, depending on what kind of jobs and what industry sectors you are typing or, targeting for yourself. And then pick and choose depending on what the role is and just make little amends here and there. Have the cover letter ready because it says a lot. Only when you are applying and it gives you the provision of adding a cover letter. Otherwise, a nice email with an attachment is fine.
Why do some entry-level jobs require experience?
Because they don't have people in HR like me.
Well said. The top 3 tips for LinkedIn.
Oh, I can really give you chapters and chapters of it. But top 3 would be highlight what you want people to see, not what you want people to know. So if you're looking for a job, don't feel shy in writing that you're looking for a job. So let the world know what it is that they want to know. Be careful of what you want to say and what they want to hear. They're 2 different things. Okay? One is that. 2, keep your accounts active. Just opening up a LinkedIn account is not enough. You have to interact. If you don't have content to create, read content and appreciate people for what they are creating. Interact, engage with the content. Very, very important. So that means your profile is active. And then the 3rd is keep your profile up to date. If there is something happening, if there is a new skill set that you're acquiring, if there is a certification that you've done, even if it's a volunteer work, add it all in. So keep it up to date.
Certifications and this, all these things are important?
Oh, believe me, they are. From where I sit, it matters a lot. Because then I'm looking at somebody who is growing holistically, not just with their skills. Because then you remember all that we spoke about little earlier. Yep. It's more, you remember that 40-50% of soft. So I'm looking at that as well. How are you rounding up as an individual? We do not want to breed robots who talk and walk and look and sit in a certain way. We are humans. We have an edge over robots. We are each unique. So let's keep that uniqueness. And that's the uniqueness which will take you as far as you want to go, not because of the MBA that you've earned. It will help you get through the door. It will help you, get that meeting. It will also give you some skills. Please, I'm not saying education is redundant, but how will you grow holistically is everything else around it.
Any certifications that you would recommend?
Depends on who you are and what you want to do. So I don't have a specific answer for that, but anything that allows you to be better at what you do. So for example, if you're an HRD profession, rather than just doing your MBA and PhD in HR, I would say, come to my communication program. Go learn about diversity and inclusion. Learn about mental health. What are people doing in organizational culture? How are you coaching leaders? It's all of that, right? Just some examples.
The best way to apply for jobs in 2025, is it through LinkedIn or through specific...
Can I charge you for this time, please?
These questions are posed by my niece. She's going to be a graduate soon. So
there is no straight answer to this. This requires work. So I always say, and I'm sure you've heard this, and there is 100%, 1,000% truth in this. Finding a job is a full-time job, right? Unless, of course, your dad knows a CEO or a few CEOs of a company and your CV is moving in the right tables, then it's a different story, which is good for you. But if you are organically looking for a job, LinkedIn is a great tool. Great tool. It has done wonders for me. You have to learn how to use it, right? Other than that, if you are coming out of college placements are one of the best. I remember when I graduated, I had 5 job offers in my hand. Woohoo! So leveraging those connections with the organizations through your college. Who are the faculty members that you need to tap into to get that information, access that information, start to build those bridges, start to establish those relationships. I'll give you an example. The other day we were speaking at this university. I'm not going to name names. It was a beautiful auditorium and only half of the auditorium was full. And I sat there and I gave them what I gave them, and there were a few other speakers, and I was like, I wish there were more people because this would be game changing for them. So when the opportunity presents itself, are you making the right choices for yourself? Are you going for that extracurricular activity, or you want to, invest in hearing from people and the opportunities that your university is giving you to engage with right leaders in the region, in the country, and find paths to grow your career. So these young adults also have to take some responsibility for their actions, right? They have to allocate their attention, their time to right resources. So LinkedIn is a great resource. Faculty connections is another. Alumni networks to tap into is another. Then, the engagements and the public events that happen. I see very few graduates show for these events. There are some very interesting events that happen, especially, let's say, in a place like Dubai or in UAE. A lot of them are free. You don't even have to buy tickets. You just have to register and show up. So are you looking for those events? Are you creating those avenues and opportunities for you? You have to be hungry and the food shall arrive.
Not for the interns, not for the fresh graduates, but someone who's mid-level or senior management looking out for a job right now, what tips do you have for them?
The timing of it has to be right. The seasonality of it has to be right. If you're going looking for jobs that don't exist, then it's going to be hard. And the funny bit is, the higher you go in the hierarchy, the lesser the people talk about those positions. So if you are looking at a senior manager and director, just know the number of positions that you see live on any portal is only 1/10 or 1/20th of what real positions are actually in the market. It's either sitting with a headhunter, it's either sitting with a retained recruiter, or it is the leadership, which is themselves scouting for talent, looking for people, or it's an internal role and they want to promote somebody from within. So what you see is the tip of an iceberg, but it gives you a sense of what's happening in the market, how active the market is. So for example, if Eid is around the corner, Christmas is around the corner, let's talk about Dubai. Then we are an expat-driven community, a lot of people will be away. And if during those 2-3 months you're looking for a job, good luck. It's not like people not land jobs, but if you're looking for that opportunity, it might not be there. Or the decision makers are not in their seats, right? So the timing of it, the understanding of the industry or the sector, leveraging your network, because the higher up you go, it's about who you know. It truly, truly is about your network. Who are those recruiters that you are putting your CVs in front of? Who are those headhunters who you have tapped on the shoulder and say, hey, I'm ready to move next. Can you let me know what are the mandates you're working on? So you have to strategize your move. You can't just sit on LinkedIn all day, send your CVs and expect to land a job. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way.
Is there any age limit, or you're too old for this, especially since you are a woman leadership expert?
Okay.
So champion,
if you say so.
Woman leadership champion.
If you say so.
Is there any age limit that, oh no, after this age it's very difficult to get a job?
Look, you just, as you know, none of this is scripted. Our podcast is very organic. It's been very raw. You're asking me a question, I'm responding. You're reminding me of a movie. It's not a female lead. The protagonist is a male. I think Robert De Niro, if I remember. Intern. Have you seen that movie?
I have, yes. It's an amazing one, yes.
So there is your answer.
Okay.
He's an intern at the age of maybe 60 plus, and he does a fantastic job, right? So it really is not about age. Yes, the market would want to push you in a box, would want to define those boundaries. But if you are ready to make that amend for yourself, if you have that resilience, if you have that bandwidth to shed all that experience and all that clutter of how you have conditioned yourself and be open to receiving how the new world works, and you walk into it freely and with open arms, yes, there are opportunities. But if you want to go with redundant ways of doing things, saying, oh, in HR, we used to do this, and this is how we signed the paper, and then it went to this one, and now I'm these many years old with that authority, unfortunately, it doesn't work.
Can you ever be overqualified? Like you said, you want to shed everything and then go, but a person has his qualifications and they're putting their qualifications.
Let me ask you that question. What do you think, Carlton?
I know the answer.
And give me the answer, because there's no one answer to this. There's no right or wrong. But I want to hear it from you.
So I have a graduate degree in finance. I'm a sports coach and I'm very good at what I do. I've done my certifications and I feel no, you can never be overqualified as long as you have the passion to it.
There you go.
But it's coming from me. I would love to hear it from you. But yes, you did agree, so I understand.
I reciprocate.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody who thinks they are overqualified, we need to talk.
No. What I mean is, there's a candidate who applies for something and the response that they get is, oh no, you're too overqualified for the job. They are willing to do that. That's why they applied for the job in the first place.
You see, that's a tricky one when an employer lets you down with that, because it's all how, and I'm going to say something which is very non-conventional, okay? Even organizations, the recruiters, the HRDs, they behave in that way because years and years and decades on, there has been certain behaviors that dictated certain characters, and now those patterns are made. The point I'm trying to make is, when you get somebody who has 10 years of experience in a job which requires 6, and they're saying you're overqualified, we don't need you, recruiters are thinking based on their experience that, oh, when we hired somebody with 10 years of experience in the 6 years requirement of a job, they were only coming into the job because they were desperate, because they needed money, because, they had financial responsibilities. And as soon as they got a better job, they quit. As soon as they got a better pay for those 10 years of experience, they left this job. So why should we even bother?
Okay.
So I think it is about how we assess our candidates. It's about the ability of the recruiter to assess the real intention of the applicant. Is this a need through which they want to come into the job, or is it really them wanting to work for us? And that's a very fine line, right? So recruiters are those magic makers, right? Or the matchmakers, right? So they have to understand the true intention. And there are many tools to enable recruiters to do that. There is psychometric profiling. There are NLP programs that one can utilize and implement. Because understand, Carlton, when I interview you for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, I know what I know. But do I know Carlton? I would be fooling myself if I thought I know Carlton. So if you are a trained recruiter on different, these psychometric programs and whatnot, it allows us to dive deeper. So you are saying something because we all can pretend to be somebody else for a few minutes. But the true self comes out when we use these tools. So again, I'm not going to go around, championing about or talking about a few tools, but the resources are there and they work. And I have seen, that there is proof of the pudding, but you have to apply those. So the recruiters need to ascertain if this is the right match for them. And yes, you will get answers saying you're overqualified. And yes, people will put you in a box, but it's also about how much fire you have in you and what is your true intention of finding that job. So it will be a combination of those.
Okay. Rapid fire.
Yes, sir.
Charisma or skill?
Charisma.
This is very close to your heart. High performer or team player?
Team player.
Experience versus fresher versus intern?
Intern.
Why intern? Because fresh.
Neither a fresher nor an experienced one. I can mold them the way I want.
You prefer regular employees or ones who will earn sweat equity in the future?
Both.
Cultural intelligence, how important is it?
Extremely. In today's day and age.
Gender equality. What steps companies can take to ensure gender equality?
Why should we even talk about it?
Maternity leave, sick leave, paternity leave. They're not leave, actually. No, everyone assumes, they're gone on leave.
I've had an HR people ask me, what is my sick leave balance? How many leaves do I have left? And it's like, no, if you fall sick, you can utilize them. You don't have any balance of leaves, right? Sorry, but your question is?
So how can we change the mindset when we say maternity leave? It's not leave. The mom's not gone on leave. They're actually recovering.
Yes.
Like a person who's taken sick leave and you're like, okay, are you good? Are you ready to resume work? But after the maternity leave, the assumption is, they've taken so much maternity leave, they should be fine right now. But it isn't, is it?
No, it's not. It's all about organizational culture, Carlton. I've worked in organizations which have fantastic culture and there is a great amount of understanding. There is a great amount of interest in welcoming back colleagues who are coming after maternity, paternity leave. So it's all about the culture, the best practices that we put in the organizations, and the leaders need to drive it. It needs to come from the top. And if that is right, employees will be they'll play along. But if that line is broken and the communication chain is not there, then there will be challenges like what you mentioned.
Last question. You are a bestseller. The book is Eye to Eye with I. What is it about and how can it help us?
So let me ask you this. What does the title say to you?
So it's eye to eye with I. That means me, myself. So me looking at the mirror.
You look wherever.
Deep dive. It's more of a deep dive within.
Yeah. So very, very good. Applause.
Thank you.
So the book is about how do we see our own selves, and do we truly know who we are? Do you, Carlton, know who you truly are? What do you stand for? Why are you here? Why do you do what you do? Not for example, why are you recording this podcast or why do you have a job? But this is going deeper. Just break those barriers of your mind thinking and putting you in the present with what you're doing and achieving. No. Why did Carlton come into this life? What is he here to achieve? What is his purpose for others? How are you serving others? And, so it's all contextual, and it's also about perception. You can limit yourself and your perception to your job, your title, your bank balance, your assets, and that's your reality. And when you look at yourself, you feel proud about it, and that's it, and that's fine. But when you look at yourself, do you feel there is more to achieve? Do you feel that gap? Is there some unfinished business? Is there those hopes and dreams and aspirations that you parked and never had the courage to experiment with? And it just goes on, and you can expand yourself beyond imagination. So Eye to Eye is truly my gift to the world, saying, when was the last time you truly looked at yourself eye to eye and understood who you truly are? And I make you go through that journey by sharing my own journey. So it is about my own life, and I've laid myself out there in the sense of I've let it all out. I'm known to be a person who speaks from the heart, and there are no secrets. There's no things lurking behind the scene. I say it as it is, and I hope the book, whoever reads it, gives the reader the chance to really introspect, and if not more, gives them an opportunity to think more of themselves than they've ever thought, and give themselves an opportunity to be maybe a 1% better, or do that one thing more, or take that one step in the direction that they never thought was an avenue for them. So it's about moving forward for your own self, not for anybody else. So yeah, it's my gift to the world, sharing my own story, being extremely vulnerable, putting it all out there, and saying, hey, if I can do it, so can you. My life has been, read the book, there have been many, many, many bumpy rides along the way, from relationship challenges to financial setbacks to struggle with my career and the wrong choices I made, to very difficult health-related issues. I don't have children, to going through that trauma as a woman, not having the opportunity or that experience of bearing a child. So, we all sit and project ourselves in a certain way, but there's a lot of backstory. And I can choose to be very bitter about it, and believe me, I have been there. Or you can feel sorry for yourself, and I've been there too. But how do you bounce back? How do you come out of it? What do you learn from that? And in all that, what do you offer to the world? So this is my gift to the world.